Hello, so we're going to start with figure 124 on page 37. That's not what I wanted to hit. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Mind tab, search for the page number HTML 37. Go to page 37. Expand this so we can see. Did it go to page 37? HTML 37. Go to page 37. Okay, just a bit of a delay there. So what we're wanting is figure 124. Which talks about inserting inline images. We don't have any images yet, so we're just going to insert the syntax. And yeah, so it looks like the top of the page was around here. So let's look for that. I'm going to close this out. Okay, working with inline images. Inserting inline images. Okay, so we have it. So I want to reposition my screens to what I need them to be. And as I'm doing these things, I see the things that you guys may struggle with, like I might be moving on in class because these are the things that until I do it, I may not fully realize what you're trying to do in class. So again, just please let me know this is what you're doing in class because you guys have different resources than I do. And yeah, so I got my screen situated so I can somewhat see. So if you look, we're in the header area. So we got the opening header and the closing header. Oh, that's the header, not head. My bad. Sorry. Header, which is not the same thing as a head. And like right above the article. So, yes, right above the article. After the body, before the article. So I'm going to write the syntax for header and the closing one. Now, if we already had an image, we would put the name of it right here. But we don't have an image yet. And if you read this chapter, it'll describe the reason for the word out, or alt, rather. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just type that in. Image, source. I'm just going to use that. Logo 2.png. So it makes sense if you read it like image, you're wanting an image, the source of it is the name of the image file. And the alt is if somebody is using a screen reader or their images aren't loading because that's how they set it or not, for whatever the reason the images may not be loading, or they're using a screen reader because they're visually impaired. The screen reader will read that the fact that it's curbside tie is their logo. So those are the things to take in consideration when you're creating and designing websites. You know, you have the image, but then you also need to have a little bit of a description for it. So I'm going to close that gap in between the closing header. So the other image that we included in this was right after the About Us in H1 and right before the P strong curbside tie. So same thing, image source equals CT photo 1.png alt. Looks like they haven't put anything in there yet. So we save it. And those were the only things I believe were on that portion of the assignment. I'll expand that to make that bigger so I can look at it. Yes. Now, if we had the image, it would look like this. For the first one, and then the second one would look like this. We did not put the image in it yet because we did not download files. Again, this is just to get you used to typing in the syntax, learning about the starting and the ending tags, or the opening and the closing tags, as I refer to them. Just repetition, repetition, repetition. Let's see. So we got that in there. We are going to go ahead and save it and do a preview. My dog's sneezing in the background. Okay. So there's one. Oh, okay. So when you refresh the page, you'll notice that there's no image. It just has that default weird icon that indicates an image should be there, but there's not. And that's because we don't have an image actually loaded up here. We just put that there's an image, but it can't find the image, so that's the default icon it goes to. The curbside tie, that comes from the fact that we put this over a little bit. That curbside tie, this is where we put the alt. Like if that image does not show up, what it's going to show is these words right here, whatever we put for alt. Okay? So if for whatever reason, whether it's a screen reader issue, they utilize a screen reader, they can't see the image, they need to know what's on there. This gives them an idea of what it is. If the image isn't loading, the image is not available, such as in this case, it's not available, then it gives them this text right here indicating what it should have been. Now, notice that nothing is actually showing right here. I believe an extra space below about us and above this first paragraph. But it looks like, I think an extra space was created. But there's no alt right here. There's no words like curbside tie. There's nothing like that here. And the reason is because we didn't put anything in the alt description, which was the assignment. So I'm just going to put something in there, photo 1, and then hit save. And if I hit refresh, and then it appears. So that's another reason to have alt as a descriptor. And when you use images, it's best practices. Honestly, not everybody does it because it is extra typing, but it is one of those things that are best practices. So the assignment was to have no content right there. So I'm going to hit save and refresh. And it's gone. So that is this assignment right here. And that one was, as a reminder, was figure 124 on page 37. See ya.